This is the Reds POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good evening, Reds fans, and welcome to another edition of the POSTCAST brought by Locked On Reds and the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Tim Daniel, and tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The biggest stage in world soccer is here. Let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started now. On tonight's show, Noelvi Marte has a huge game for the Cincinnati Reds. Chase Burns does struggle, but the Reds still find a way to win. I'm going to tell you why that's a good thing. Sal Stewart makes Reds history, but we're going to start with something we have not seen a whole lot this season. And that's the Cincinnati Reds going back to back to back.
This is what you'll be talking about.
So the Reds are victors tonight, 11-5. And look, we don't get to have a lot of these nights this season, do we? These nights where we can come in here and talk about the Reds having this really fun day, and they're really, really good for a night. They're hitting homers or getting extra base hits. We don't get to do that a lot this year, do we? But today we got to do it. And now I know the Phillies had a bullpen day today, but the way that Alan Rangel started didn't look promising. Let's be honest. The Reds were, those first couple innings, they looked lost. And then they the second time through the order, kind of got things going. They scored 5 runs in the 4th. They scored 4 runs in the 6th. And I think this was one of these nights where they just needed this. I think we needed this, right? We needed to have a day when we can go to bed as Reds fans and go, that was fun. That was really fun. We needed this night. It was really, really exciting. 11 runs. It's only the 5th time this year they've had double digits. Not that that's super common in baseball by any stretch of the matter, but to see them go out there and do what they did was great. And Sergio's talking about it here. They got a nice night from Elly De La Cruz. He was really great. That was fun to see Elly in the leadoff spot tonight, hitting a homer, scoring 3 times tonight, and getting 2 runs. John, here we in a time machine as April again? I hope so. Because I feel like I was making people really upset with my lack of optimism that was really starting to go away. And I know it's just one night, but I think we all, being the team and the fan base, just needed a night like tonight. We just had to feel good one time on the occasion. Because, when they have been winning of late, it's been super close games. It's been, they win like 2-1, or 3-2, or something like that, 4-2. So that was pretty fun. Obviously tonight, when the team goes back to back to back, it makes you think about that being the thing that kind of put this game away.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Elly, Sal, Blade, going back to back to back. You don't see that too often, even at a home run stadium like Great American Ballpark. And that was so cool. By the way, how about leadoff hitter Elly De La Cruz? The thing, right? I mean, the Phillies batted Bryce Harper leadoff tonight. And I don't think any of their fans are complaining about that either. So just to see those guys kind of take care of it, knock the ball out of the park, super fun. Between the first 3 guys in the order tonight, they had 7 of their 11 runs. That'll do from the top of the order. Spencer Steer, Noelvi Marte, we're going to talk about him later in the show. Edwin Arroyo. Nice hit there later in the game as well. So tonight they had, I think everyone got on base tonight. Let me look at this just to make sure I have that right. No, Jose Trevino didn't get on base. That's the only guy who didn't get on base tonight. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. Scott Rosser says, it might be time to skip Burns from his next start. I don't think his next start's till after the All-Star break, if I have that right, because I don't think he's pitching in the Cubs series. Let me make sure I have that right. Yeah, I don't think he's pitching the Cubs series. And then, of course, he'll probably throw an inning in the All-Star game. But I'm not super worried about that. we'll take tonight. That's been pretty cool to see. How about Sal Stewart tonight making Reds history? The most home runs by a Reds rookie before the All-Star break. Is that the most baseball stat of all time? Of course it is. But was it cool? Of course it was. Especially when you think about the fact that it was Frank Robinson he passed. Now, Frank Robinson, pretty good career, right? Maybe the worst Reds trade in history, trading Frank Robinson. But Sal Stewart keeps doing it. Had 2 homers tonight. So that's pretty cool. What a fun night to be a Reds fan. History made, lots of home runs, lots of extra base hits. And look, Chase Burns struggled tonight. Haven't been able to say that a whole lot. And the fact that the Reds won is certainly a good thing. So let's talk about Chase Burns and the Reds finding a way to win right after this. Whoop. What am I doing? I'm getting my stuff backwards. I'm just so excited. Want to give a big thank you to Amazon for this quick break. This back to school season, spend less on your kids with Amazon. We all know how crazy the back to school shopping experience can be. It starts with a few items on the list, then suddenly you're shopping for supplies, clothes, lunch gear, tech, and about 10 other things you didn't see coming. It adds up quick. When you're buying supplies and find yourself asking how a calculator became one of the more expensive items in the cart. I wasn't expecting math to start costing me money before school even began. Feels like there's a life lesson there somewhere. I'm still trying to figure it out there. When you buy clothes for back to school, then your kid hits a growth spurt 2 weeks later and you're right back where you started. Sometimes it generally feels like they're growing faster than your budget can keep up. When your kid's definition of need for back to school shopping is a lot different than your definition of need, somehow the list keeps getting longer every time they look at it. Explaining the need versus want conundrum this time of year just became an annual part of the process. When you start shopping for a few back-to-school essentials and realize how quickly the list grows. Supplies, clothes, lunch gear, headphones, it just keeps going. That's why finding low prices and all the things you need makes such a big difference this time of year. So remember, with Amazon's low back-to-school prices, just spend less on your kids because every dollar you don't spend on them is a dollar you haven't spent on them. Shop back to school on Amazon and spend less on your kids. Thank you again for making Locked On Reds your first listen of the day, whether it's me and you're recapping the game in the morning or Jeff and Steve Monday through Friday on Locked On Reds. We definitely appreciate all of our everydayers. And if you are an everydayer and want to join the Everydayer Club, please be sure to sign up. It's $5 a month or $50 a year. You get access to ad-free episodes, and also you get access to our Discord chat as well. And I'm sure you've heard Jeff talk about it. Jeff and Steve, they're cooking something up, and they better invite me. So if you're an everydayer, you'll be able to find out some more information on that as well. Hey, so the Reds found a way to win tonight, despite the fact that Chase Burns struggled, was not Chase Burns tonight. And I think that's great. It's not great Chase Burns struggled, but in a lot of his outings, they've needed him to be flawless. And tonight he was certainly anything but. Now he still gets the win. He's 11-1 now. That's pretty wild. His ERA does balloon, joking, to 2.54. He has 6 walks tonight. He gives up 3 runs. Threw too many pitches. Had 106 pitches when he left the game. And for guys that young, you're going to have nights like this. It is what it is. No one's disappointed in him. Obviously there's a lot of conversation tonight in the chat about maybe skipping his next start or kind of getting worried about his velocity coming down, so on and so forth. And I think that's normal. You got to think this guy hasn't pitched as many innings before. If the team's not going anywhere, they're probably going to shut him down at some point once he hits that phantom number innings limit that none of us know about. Kind of get his arm ready for 2027 if there is a 2027 baseball season. But, he's going to learn. He's going to learn from this. He's going to figure out what he did wrong. And, we know how talented he is. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball this year. Obviously, a lot of fun to watch. I think this is probably going to be solid for him. And I feel like this is going to be something where he just gets better and better, and I'm excited to see how he comes out of this one. Like we said, probably pitching the he was probably going to pitch in the All-Star game. I don't know. Maybe Terry Francona tells the crew to sit him out, but I doubt it. I don't think Dave Roberts is going to sit Chase Burns out because people are going to want to see him throw. And then talk about the bullpen real quick because thought they were pretty good tonight. Brock Burke gets an inning, doesn't give up a run, doesn't give a solo shot, and Rhett Lowder gets a solo shot in his 2 innings. But I thought Lowder threw the ball overall pretty well. No one's going to be mad at giving up a homer to Kyle Schwarber. And it's hilarious Kyle Schwarber keeps homering at Great American Ballpark. There's something in there that I just can't seem to put my finger on the irony of Kyle Schwarber continuing to hit home runs at Great American Ballpark and not as a member of the Cincinnati Reds. Can anyone put their finger on it? Because I certainly cannot. You know who did also hit a home run tonight and had a big day for the Reds? Noelvi Marte.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
How about Noelvi Marte tonight? Because he was a man on a mission, goes 2 for 5 with a homer, has 4 runs batted in. I told you guys. I tell you guys every time he has a big game, I can't quit him. I finally have quit at Matt McLain. I've finally given up on him being a consistently good major league player, and that was painful. I've now taken my Matt McLain stock, I sold it, and bought some Noelvi Marte stock because you just see the talent. And there are things that he still has to figure out. I agree. But something's going in his way. And the swing is really compact now. He's really found a way to get that down, taken care of. I just feel like something's clicking for him. I think if they have a 27, I think he's going to have a big year. I think he's going to play through this year. He needs to play every day. The Reds need to figure out how to get him in the lineup every single day. No excuses. They need to know what they got. We all feel like he can be pretty good. There are certainly concerns still in his gameplay, like his routes he takes to fly balls in the outfield can be a little concerning. And also, I think he might be able to play center field. I don't know if I'm alone there. I know he played a little bit when he got sent down to Louisville this year, but there's something about his athleticism that just really jumps out. And man, the way he gets to the ball, pretty awesome. Now, I think a lot of people hold worry about him still, especially the suspension. Even though that was 2 years ago, I think a lot of people still have that in the back of their head, but I don't care about that anymore. I don't think the team should care about that anymore. I don't think the fans should care about that anymore. But he's been so talented and it's been nice. And look, like I said, we don't get to have nights like this a whole lot. So when we do, we enjoy them. As Reds fans, we play our head on our pillow at night and we say, as the Reds are winners against the Philadelphia Phillies, 11-0. The Reds have 11 runs on 11 hits and an error. The Phillies have 5 runs on 8 hits and an error. Chase Burns is your winner. He is now 11-1 with a 2.54 ERA. Your losing pitcher tonight is Alan Rangel. He is 0-2 with a 4.19. Want to make mention of one more thing before we get out of here and I move on and set the preview for tomorrow. One, I'm really liking the ESPN broadcast. I think Adam Ottavino has a big future as a broadcaster. 2, the Reds had 7 walks tonight. That was awesome. It was like a whole lot of Joey Vottos out there. I miss it. The Reds as a combined team tonight, don't get to say this too often, hit well with runners in score position. We're 4 of 11. Only left 7 on base. I like those numbers. But the Reds are back at tomorrow with a chance to win the series against these really good Philadelphia Phillies as Brady Singer takes the hill for the Reds. He is 3-8 with a 5.03 ERA. But he's going against Jesus Luzardo. Jesus Luzardo is 7-4 with a 3.75. He's really good at baseball, if you didn't know. First pitch will be at 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Everyone, thank you so much for spending some time with me tonight. Obviously, gets to have some fun being Reds fans. And let's enjoy the night. Let's hope they can find a way to do this tomorrow. I'm not super optimistic because Luzardo's great. But everyone, thank you again. Please be sure to stay tuned in to hang out with Jeff and Steve Monday through Friday on Locked On Reds. I know they're going to be pretty excited and jazzed up about this one as Steve was in attendance and as he is in town. So it's nice to see that. I'm Tim Daniel. Go Red Legs. Have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you tomorrow.